everyone, and welcome back to Investing Assist. In my last video, we looked at what it means for stocks to be on sale. If you haven't already, be sure to go check out that video. Today, we're going to look at some of the biggest wastes of money and what you can do to save up a little bit of extra cash and avoid going broke. So before we get into the content of this video, I want you guys to listen to this stat. 4 out of every 5 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of US workers are using mostly all or completely all of their monthly income on monthly expenses, leaving very little or nothing at all for savings. Now, in some situations, this can't be helped in the short term, but what if I told you that you could turn this around and not have to be worried about having that very next paycheck to pay your bills? Let's start off today by looking at some of the biggest wastes of money. And I'm going to name off a bunch of them, and then we'll look at some of them in more detail. So, some of the biggest wastes of money, and these might be different from person to person, but the point is that these aren't considered needs. So let's run through them here. Cigarettes, designer clothing and fashion, playing the lottery, new cars, bottled water, diamonds and jewelry, fast food and eating out, a university, luxury hotels, and gyms. So it's kind of a lot to take in there, but let's focus in on some of these. So starting off with cigarettes. Some people spend thousands of dollars a year on these things, and if you're really looking to quit, you can really knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Not only are you going to be able to quit smoking, but you're also going to be able to save some money in the process. This goes with alcohol as well. The next one we're going to look at is designer clothing and fashion. And this really does kind of tie in with jewelry, watches, that kind of stuff too. And man, let me tell you, there was a point in time, I'm going to say, if there's one thing that you don't want to do, it's don't go broke trying to look rich. I can't say that enough. I think I've said it in several of my videos. I'm going to keep saying it. Don't go broke trying to look rich. There was a point in time where I got an Apple Watch, not because I was interested in its features, but just simply because it was one of the cooler watches out there. I actually hardly use it and wear some of my less expensive watches more often. I almost fell into the same trap with the AirPods, but I heard that the quality wasn't so great on them for the price, so I ended up getting some Power Beats instead for $60 less. And I love them. They're great, and I have another $60 in my pocket because of it. And I called it out in my channel introduction video, but what do you guys notice about Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Mark Zuckerberg's outfits? Oftentimes, they look like they have the least amount of money in the room. You would have no idea that they were so rich. Now, these guys really do live by the motto of not going broke trying to look rich. Now, on a much larger scale, right? They could definitely look rich if they wanted to and still be rich, not go broke, but they choose not to. And I think it's kind of mind games like this that it really tells you who they are as a person and how they got to being so successful today. The next one is playing the lottery. Now, I get it. Someone is going to win the lottery, and it could be you, but the odds of it being you are so slim that it's probably not even a good idea to put any money into it. Now, I get it. If you just turned 18 or you haven't played the lottery yet and you want to do it just to say you did it, go for it. Live your life. What I don't recommend is blindlessly throwing money at this thing, expecting to be the winner of the $186 million jackpot, because it's just not very likely. Next up is new cars. It's pretty simple. People get too caught up in having a brand new car. They have one for 5 years and then they think it's time to trade in and get a newer one. They drive it off the lot for the first time and it's already lost so much of its value. Now, it's not to say that nice cars aren't cool. For me personally, I've been driving around the same car for 5 years. I paid $3,000 for it, and I intend on keeping it until the wheels fall off, which may be pretty soon, honestly, because I've been trying to get the oil leak fix on it for a few months now, and they can't seem to get it fixed. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'll worry about nicer cars later on. Right now, I'm focused on sacrificing in the present to reward myself in the future. I don't have a monthly car payment, and it's a pretty great feeling. Now, I know I said we weren't going to look at all of these, but we're on a roll here, so we'll keep it going. The next one is bottled water. Now, a 40 pack of water is only a couple of dollars, but the point here is refill your bottles after you've used them for the first time, and you'll end up saving some money in the long run. Next, we're going to look at fast food and eating out. And I think that this is a really big one for people. Now, I feel like since the pandemic started, whether by choice or not, people have been eating out less. I've done a good job of this as well. It's really a habit you have to get into of making your own food. It's usually cheaper and healthier for you. And as seems to be the theme with a lot of these, it doesn't mean that you can't go out to eat anymore. You still want to enjoy and live your life. But say you were going out to eat 5 or 7 times a week. Maybe try cutting that back to 3 for a little bit and see what happens. The next one is something that I can speak to personally. It is a university. Now, a lot of people feel that a college education is useless, and I guess it really just depends on what you're trying to do. For example, if I want to go work at an insurance company, it might be a good idea to get a degree. If I'm wanting to make a living making YouTube videos, you don't need anything like that. I believe what it's getting at is where you actually complete your education, say a university versus a community college. And this is right up my alley because I actually started at a 2-year community college and then transferred to a 4-year university. At the time, I really wasn't sure how I felt about it, but looking back on it, I feel like it's one of the best decisions that I have made. Not only did I save a lot of money by going to community college, but I also feel like I got a better education at the community college. Class sizes were a little bit smaller, and I got more one-on-one time with my professors. Next up is luxury hotels. And it's really a delicate balance here because while you don't need to go stay in the fanciest hotel in town, you still want to be at a place where it's not unsanitary and you still want to feel safe. For me, there's a fine line between the two, kind of a middle ground, if you will. And lastly here, gyms and gym memberships. And I could speak on this all day long. I have never paid for a gym membership. Now, there's been a few times where I've gone to one of my buddy's gyms and paid a $5 fee for the day or whatever, but I've never actually paid a monthly gym membership fee. So I started taking fitness seriously right after high school, and I actually got a free gym membership to a local YMCA through the community college that I was going to. So there's 2 things that we've talked about, not only gym memberships, but also where you're going to school. And then also when I transferred up to my 4-year university, we get into the rec centers up here for free as well. Now, back in March when coronavirus first hit and the lockdowns first started coming into effect, I was left without a gym. And it's not like I could just go out and get a membership somewhere because most of the gyms were closed down. So what I decided to do was to start my own home gym. Now, it's nothing too fancy. I have a bench, a rack, a barbell, pull-up bar, dumbbells. I make it work. And while I did spend a couple $100 up front for the equipment, in the long run, it's going to end up saving me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in monthly gym membership fees. It's also a real big convenience in terms of time, gas money. You know, it's real convenient to just be able to go walk downstairs and enjoy a workout instead of driving out in the rain, having to go get gas. You know what I'm talking about. So a lot of examples being thrown your guys' way, but I really just wanted you guys to get the mindset of where your money is going on a monthly basis. Another thing that's just popping into my head right now is monthly subscriptions. Let's say to Netflix or whatever. Let's say if you don't use Netflix anymore and you're still paying a monthly subscription Stuff like that, where you could really be cutting out some money and using it for other purposes. So hopefully, maybe you guys can implement some of those changes and ensure that you won't be running out of money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you have yet to do so. Any questions? Leave those down in the comments. I'll be back with the next one.